start off with some of the stuff that I talked about in my talk from last month, where I talked about how we as humans love to latch on to that good, bad, right, and wrong thing. Now, you know I simplified a lot of emotions into those four, just for the ease of the message. But we love to analyze, pick things apart, sort them through. And remember the example I gave of the little boxes that the male people used to sort in, and we'd sort them out and categorize them and attach them. And when you put a new one in, you assimilate it with something else, and then you relive it and go on and on with these attachments. Yeah, and it really is this fun thing because it keeps us busy. It keeps us doing something. But is it something that really serves us just to be busy with it? It could be distracting us from the doing. Because remember, what you look at, if you change what you look at will change. We don't really want to be a part of the problem, do we? We want to be a part of the solution. So we want to be the being, the doing of our purpose. And I also think that, at least in my practice and my own experience in life, is sometimes when we keep doing that, this is good, this is right, this is bad, this is wrong, that it sometimes turns into I'm good, bad, right, or wrong. And that really takes us down a slipperier slope because it feeds that fear. And that fear, there's actually a lot of things that work to try to do that. We're programmed. I mean, I'm going to call it out right here. There's a lot of establishments that like us to be afraid. There's religions that use guilt and shame and all those nice things. And then all the way up to the government, they kind of scare us with things. They use fear to control us. But then guess what? We do the same thing to ourselves. Because we have this rule book. Do you guys have that rule book that follows you around in life? And I don't know where it's at all the time, but I feel like every once in a while it's like, you're in trouble. You just did something wrong. And nobody else even has a clue. Because it's your own little thing. That if you weren't there 20 years ago when your mom said something, and even, I don't want to bash the holidays or anything, but I'll never forget the day we were driving down the road and we heard this Christmas song and my son said, Mom, this whole Santa thing of watching you is creepy. I'm like, right? I know. But think of all the weird things that have followed us that create this fear. The thing of it is it controls our minds. It keeps us from being questioners. It keeps us from challenging things. And then we, in turn, like to have control because we might not have control out here. We want to have control in here, so we set up this whole rigmarole of rules and programmings that we're living ourselves by because we think that makes us safe and comfortable if we can control the outcome. Anybody ever control an outcome in this room? Exactly. Not happening. So what I want us to try to work on doing is being that conscious person. That conscious person that learns to face fear. Because even as a kid, the best way to get rid of the monsters was to look under your bed and check out your closet. When there wasn't anything there, there wasn't anything there. But if we let that fear feed us, it's about facing it. And even as adults, how many times have you wanted to say something to a friend or somebody that you were afraid was going to upset them and you just didn't want to hurt their feelings, and then it ended up turning into something way more festers and it's just whatever, it's crazy. But we don't do it because we're afraid of facing our fears and putting ourselves in uncomfortable situations. But it's in those uncomfortable situations that we learn and we grow. I don't like to swallow that pill either, I'll be honest with you. Every once in a while, it gets to me. But the way that we have the strength and the courage and the bravery to do that is to believe and have faith in something bigger than ourselves. This is the bottom line. This is about us knowing. We're metaphysical practitioners, right? I mean, this is the core of who we are. Metaphysics means that you believe and know there is something going on out there way beyond us, right? And I don't care what you call it or what you think about it, there's something bigger than us. And until you start putting some faith in that and belief in that and using it, it's not meant to float around on a cloud. It's meant to be used every day in your life. So it's not when somebody gets a diagnosis. It's not when somebody passes. It's not when an accident happens. I'm talking active in your everyday life. Getting a practice in it. Now, I know I'm not the only list maker, right? We've got lists of things we need to do around the house, projects we need to get done. I still got to winterize my chicken coop, all that kind of good stuff. We've got lists of people, places, and things, especially with the holidays coming. And we've got lists of things we need to do to make sure we have everything when we go to do the people, places, and things. And then we have lists of stores we need to go get stuff, and we have lists of the things that we need to get at that store, right? Of the lists that we made. Am I the only one guilty? Whether it's your device or paper or in your head. Oh, thank you. I have some brave takers. All right. No, I know. I see a lot of heads nodding. So, how often do we sit down with intention and make a list of, this is what I want my spiritual growth to look like. This is what I want to try to grow. I don't care whether it's journaling, mindfulness to make tea every day, or mindfulness when you do things, whether it's taking a class, no matter what it is. How often do we spend that kind of time planning and practicing our spirituality and who we really want to be? Because let me tell you, you are an ancient prayer. You are one of a kind. You, before you even came into this incarnation or into this physicality, you were the answer to a question. You were the solution to a problem. You were a purpose. We want to live that. Know that the universe conceived you. It conceived you, and your worth is limitless. Now, how do we live it? How do we live that? We do that by leading with love. This magnificent being that you are, and this is what we want to try to live life from. That place, that leading with love. Now I have to confess, I had some really cool ideas rolling around in my head, and when you're vacuuming, you get something, I gotta go write that down. So I had my talk brewing, but I'm horrible at titles, and I couldn't think of a title. And Dana said my title in her talk last week, The Leading with Love. And I'm like, after we got out of church, the first thing I did was get on the phone. I'm like, is this coined somehow? Who do I need to, give credit? Is this good? She goes, no, I think I just got it somewhere. So I got my title from the inspirational moment from last week. Okay, so what does leading with love look like? Now, it's really simple at the core, but like everything, the execution can get a little more challenging. But Mark Manson stated it pretty well. He said, treat yourself well without harming other people. Treat other people well without harming yourself. That's it. That's it. At the core of it, that's it. Like I said, the execution can get a little bit more fun. Now, does this mean that you can't say no, or that you have to be a doormat or bullied or anything like that? People pleasing? Absolutely not. Because it starts with yourself, and it's called self-care, self-love, self-worth. Key word here, we're getting it, it's self. Everything. Who and what you're trying to find is not outside of you. It is internal. And it always has been and always will be inside of you. The love and who you really are. The self. And when you work on the self and you do yourself, It radiates energy. I know we throw the terms out a lot, but it's the Christ consciousness. You know, we talk about the gene pool that causes our hair and our eyes and whatever else, but there's also like a pool of energy. And when we're strong enough to face, feel, deal, and do our uncomfortable work, guess what? You exude the energy. And that energy then allows other people to do it as well. Think about it. When you are like bummed out and you get together with some friends and by the time you're done, you walk away feeling great. You come to church feeling bummed out and you go back away to feeling differently. Because it's the good stuff, right? Well, it works every way. It radiates out to you. It affects other people without you even trying. Just your being when you're doing yourself, when you're leading with love. And I don't ever want you to underestimate the power of who you are and the influences that you can be. So I was, if you don't know this or not, I was a school social worker for 10 years in the high school. And I had a really big caseload. So my way of still staying connected with all my kids is I put this chart on the wall that had their first name and all these little squares for the days of the month. The funnest thing, okay, well, first of all, I monitored grades, attendance, discipline, and life events and things that I heard because that would usually let me know that something was brewing or going on that a kid needed a little extra help. And nothing was more fun than when I had a 17-year-old kid in my office and I'm talking to them about their grades and, you know, making sure they get what they need done and everything's okay. And I said, okay, I want you to start putting a sticker on the calendar. They looked at me like I grew a second head. And they'd be like, Miss Lena, I'm 17. I said, I know. And they're like, and I got a job at Mickey D's. I said, I know, but tomorrow you're going to come and put a sticker on my calendar for me. Now, of course, they thought they were punished at first, and this was a big deal. But it gave us this opportunity to what? Connect and exchange. How you doing? Have a great day. Good luck on that test. You did really good on that one. Whatever it was, it gave us this connection. And I want you to know, those 17-year-olds that thought I was nuts, 2 weeks later, when I was running out of stickers, it'd be them. Miss Lena, you're running out of stickers. What, you need some more smiley face stickers, Miss Lena. Fun. So these little things, doing very little, made a huge difference. So in another situation where this girl was really struggling with a particular teacher, and I knew the teacher, lovely woman, and I'm thinking, okay, it kind of looks like she's looking at this through this, but she doesn't know. So I asked the girl, I said, you okay if I go talk to her about this? And she said, yeah, go ahead. So I'm standing in the hallway talking to the teacher, and I'm saying, I need to let you know that Lucy's really in a tough time. This is a domestic situation. They're in survival. So food, electric, where they're going to stay is like priority right now, not English. This teacher breaks down and I'm like, oh, no, that's not what I was trying to say. I didn't want to upset you. I wanted you to know that this kid is more than just English right now. And you know the beautiful thing of it is, lovely teacher takes this kid under her wing, mentors her for the next 2 years. It's beautiful, beautiful. And all I did was plant the seed. That's all I did was make a connection, plant the seed, and good things happened. I had another situation because I was always just trying to find ways to lift kids, and Candy's always a motivator. So I printed out these little sheets, black and white, off the printer, little strip that says, congratulations, good job, and I'd write their name on it. Throw a piece of candy in there and send it to them in their room, or wherever their classroom was, so they got a little attention that they got something, and all that kind of stuff. The mom calls me after school, crying, and I'm thinking, oh crap, what happened now? And she says, no, Lena, this is different. It's been a year, the door slams, yes, fine, good, I'll be in my room. Today, she came busting through the door, waving this thing in my face. It was the wrapper of a Reese's peanut butter cup, which she'd eaten, cool, and this little strip of paper that I sent her. Now, I'm not going to tell you how many hundreds of those I did to get that story, But that's what we're here to do. Just the little leading with love kinds of things. This is what it's about. And remember, the most important relationship that makes all of this possible is the internal relationship with yourself and the divine. Everything that happens in your life comes from how you treat yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. Your mind is a beautiful tool. Allow it to be a tool. Your heart is this amazing magnet. So no matter where you're at on your journey, no matter how up or down you think you might be, use your mind and your heart to lead with love. Foster that relationship with the divine, because things are still going to happen in life. Negativity is still going to touch your life, losses and gains, but how we approach it, deal with it, is going to be different. Because stop and think about, you are bigger than any problem that ever existed. And guess what? The divine is bigger than you. So together, powerhouse. Know that. Operate from that. Leading with love is a way of life.